Silsden, a small Yorkshire town of character, history and charm, set snugly within a valley of the River Aire, surrounded by hills and pastures, moorland and woodland, our green ring. Generations from medieval farmers to the nail makers and mill workers of more recent memory have created and walked its footpaths, lanes and tracks, built these dry stone walls, planted and nurtured these familiar trees and hedgerows. They connect us to the seasonal cycles of the natural world. More than ever before, we recognise the importance of protecting the biodiversity of life. Change comes. It is inevitable. We have seen it in the continued growth of Silsden. In 1801, 1,300 people lived here. In 1901, 4,000. Today, that number has doubled. Its character has changed too, from a working to a mostly commuting community. More people mean more housing. These last few years have seen unprecedented growth, the development of new housing estates, swallowing up green fields, extending our valley settlement. We have played a part in meeting national needs. But there comes a moment when a proposed development threatens the character and cohesion of a community and the unique landscape in which it is set. The land between ancient Brownbank Lane, once the old road to Ilkley, and the hamlets of Brunthwaite and Swarther, which encompass the lovely Horbercote fields down to Banklands, is among the most visually striking, most loved stretches of Silsden's green ring. Yet astoundingly, this land remains on the reserved list for development, ripe at any moment for planning applications that could destroy forever this tranquil site. The current plan for Silsden shows the areas, marked in red, as available for development. Bradford Council is obliged to identify sites to meet the government's target of 1,500 houses for Silsden. Not all this land will be required, and many houses have already been built, but until the matter is reviewed, all red-marked areas are potentially up for grabs. Proposed changes to the national planning system bring further uncertainty. Surely change must be undertaken sensitively, respecting the wider needs of the community, building on brownfield sites, respecting location, fitting in with the grain of towns rather than expanding outwards uncontrollably. 2020, the year of coronavirus, has highlighted the good things about where we live, the value of our natural environment, how we might do things better. Why should we care so much about this gently rising landscape? Its historical importance for a start. These Horber fields have a fascinating story to tell, bearing witness to the footprint of Silsden's past.
Here we are standing in one of the long fields that runs down from Swarther to Silsden, and there were a series of these long, thin fields. We're actually in a green ring around the town. It is fairly certain that the shape of these fields indicates that this may well have been one of the original medieval open fields, starting somewhere around here and running up across Brownbank Lane. And the farmers would all have had their farms in the centre of town and come out to work the collective fields. Now, if you look behind me too, you'll see a line of trees. Oaks, there are some sycamore, there's a very fine line of holly behind me, and they edge a sunken way. This sunken way tells us this was a very old routeway, probably going back to medieval times, and it led off what was then Banklands Lane and up to this particular cot, which you can see behind me, the Horber cot.
These fields overlooking our town are crossed by many well-walked footpaths. It is ideal walking country, accessible to everyone, welcoming those of every age who seek exercise, fresh air, time out from a busy existence, a relationship with the natural world.
I've lived in Silsden all my life. I've been coming up here about 60 years. I love walking, and it's very good for my health. I've met loads of people while I've been out walking. In fact, while lockdown's been going on, there's been a lot more people out walking than what you would normally see. And they're finding different places to go. You know, they just enjoy being out into fresh air and see all the nature, seeing all the different scenery we've got around Silsden.
I absolutely love these fields. They're so accessible, they're just on the edge of Silsden. Every time I walk up them, I think about all the people that have walked these ancient stiles and footpaths before me. They were the old mill workers' footpaths that coming over from Addingham to work at the several mills that there were in Silsden. I think about that every time I walk them.
Springtime is particularly wonderful here, as first the blackthorn, then the hawthorn burst forth into cascades of white blossom. From before dawn the air is filled with birdsong. Later come the vibrant, spectacular tones of autumn, our ancient oak, ash and sycamore.
This is one of the clearly ancient hedge lines of this area. The trees have very large boles at the bottom. They've been here a long time, and some of them have been left to grow really quite high. And the other interesting thing is we have a range of trees here. We've got the oak, we've got the sycamore, we've got the hazel, we've got the ash, and we've got the alder. So this is a really old hedge line.
These trees and hedgerows provide food, homes and wildlife corridors, attracting birds, butterflies and pollinating insects, our own biodiversity. Blackbirds, thrushes, robins, sparrows, wrens, goldfinches, blue tits, coal tits, but also curlews, fieldfares, redwings, owls, buzzards, woodpeckers, jays, lizards, all sighted here recently. Our trees and hedgerows suck carbon from the air, which helps to slow climate change. It has been estimated that every oak tree, and there are many here, supports more than 2,000 bird, insect, fungus and lichen species.
As a child, I lived down the field and grew up in these fields, which was my playground as I grew up. It was a very safe place and it's a very, very special place for me. It is so important we keep these fields for Silsden and the generations to come.
I've been using these fields a lot during lockdown and also afterwards as well, and it'd be a shame if we lost them. The children really love playing up here as well. It'd be a shame if future generations didn't have the chance to do the same.
I like walking here because it's fun, and I like doing it with my granddad because he tells me loads of interesting things about what happened here years ago. I like walking with my granddad and I just enjoy walking because I like it when people tell me the stories of their life, and I'm sure they enjoy telling me the stories what they've had.
Parents have always taken their children along the footpaths here. It is often their introduction to the delights of nature. Such discoveries provide children with a sense of belonging in place and a sense of responsibility to the world around them. Never have these instincts to protect and preserve seemed more vital to the well-being of our planet. Nature needs people, and people need nature.
We've seen during the course of this film just what a fantastic place we have here, looking at these fields above Silsden. I mean, what an absolutely spectacular view we have of it on a lovely day like this. We also know about the proven health benefits of having access to the outdoors in the way that we have so easily and generously provided here in our town, right on our doorstep. But for me, the thing that stands out is the personal connections that it's made and the real nature of the community that we have here in Silsden, and how we can come together to share things that are really important to us, like this. But we also know, unfortunately, that this is under threat. So if you have watched this film and you feel enthusiastic in the way that we do about doing your bit to make sure that this stays available for everybody to use, please feel free to look at our website where you'll find up-to-date information about planning issues. And if you would be kind enough to register your interest with us, then we can contact you directly when the time arises that we would ask you to make your voice heard and to make your views known in reference to any planning applications that come up that are less than perfect. So thank you for watching.